A seemingly simple photograph left many people stunned. No makeup, no retouching, yet hidden behind that moment is the story of Zhou Xun. A woman who has weathered countless failed romances, once broke down so severely she needed psychological treatment, yet still pressed forward to become one of the greatest actresses in Asia. What exactly helped her overcome it all to shine at 51 years old? Welcome to Crime Confidential, where every mystery is unveiled. In 1974, in the city of Hangzhou, China, the couple Zhou Tianyu and Chen Yiqin joyfully welcomed the birth of a baby girl. The child's eyes were clear and deep, as if they could speak, always sparkling with curiosity and sensitivity toward the world around her. That little girl would later become Zhou Xun. Being the only daughter in the family, she grew accustomed early on to moments of solitude. From a young age, what captivated Zhou Xun most were those afternoons lying on the balcony, quietly observing every action of the adults in her apartment complex. From that silent curiosity, at just 3 years old, Zhou Xun secretly snuck out of the house to visit the movie theater where her father worked. The first time she stepped inside, the images on the screen were instantly imprinted in the little girl's mind. From then on, Zhou Xun often followed her father in and out of the theater, mesmerized by every frame as if a magical world was unfolding before her eyes. And from that moment, the seed of artistry began to sprout within her naturally. And so, by the age of 15, Zhou Xun's life took a different turn. After graduating from middle school, she was accepted simultaneously into a prestigious high school and the Zhejiang Vocational Academy of Art. Her parents wanted her to pursue regular schooling for a stable future, like everyone else. However, with the passion that had formed since childhood, Zhou Xun could not abandon her artistic dreams. Refusing to back down under family pressure, she chose to go on a hunger strike and stayed bedridden in protest. In the end, with a determination rarely seen in a teenager, Zhou Xun forced her parents to relent. She rejected the conventional path of regular high school and enrolled at the Zhejiang Vocational Academy of Art, beginning her studies in folk dance and embarking on an artistic journey full of passion and courage. Also during this period, while visiting the beach with friends, Zhou Xun happened to meet the renowned painter Hong Pan. He was searching for a model for his new painting at the time, and Zhou Xun's pure beauty and distinctive aura immediately captivated him. Without hesitation, he invited her to be his model. From that chance encounter, Zhou Xun and Hong Pan quickly reached a collaboration agreement. Based on her image, he began working on a new series of paintings with all his passion. A total of 26 works were completed, among which one stood out prominently, creating a significant impact in the art world. The ripple effect from that painting series came faster than expected. Overnight, Zhou Xun went from an unknown girl to a face that attracted attention. Her pure and pristine beauty quickly caught the eye of wall calendar brands. Many companies invited her to be their photo model, and from then on, Zhou Xun's image began appearing everywhere, associated with the title Calendar Girl. It was precisely because of this widespread exposure that in 1991, director Zietieli, while casting for the film Inside an Old Grave, happened to spot Zhou Xun's radiant image on a calendar. Her natural vivacity immediately captivated him, prompting him to find a way to contact and invite Zhou Xun to join the film. However, when Zhou Xun shared the news with her parents, she was met with fierce opposition. They still hoped she would live a stable life, staying away from the controversial spotlight of the entertainment world. But just like before, Zhou Xun remained resolute in her choice. She hastily wrote a handwritten letter that night and quietly left home to begin her new journey. Although she was still a student at the Academy of Art at the time, Zhou Xun had her first opportunity to step into the film industry. She traveled to Beijing for filming, and during her free time, she often visited nightclubs to relax, listen to music, and experience the vibrant pulse of the city. It was during these outings that Zhou Xun's innocent appearance and natural charm once again attracted attention. Richie Jen, a lounge singer at the time, was captivated by her pure and unaffected presence. The two quickly became acquainted and fell in love. From that relationship, Zhou Xun loved with complete sincerity. She was willing to make sacrifices, agreeing to move north with Richie Jen to build their careers together. Although this continued to cause conflict with her parents, Zhou Xun still held her lover's hand, and together they purchased a small apartment in Beijing and began planning for their future. Amid those days immersed in love, Zhou Xun never forgot her personal aspirations. Her first experiences on a film set had left a deep impression, igniting a fierce passion for acting. She was determined to become a professional actress, even knowing the road ahead held many challenges. Right at that moment, director Chen Kaige began production on the film Temptress Moon. Upon hearing Zhou Xun's name, he immediately took notice and quickly invited her to join the project. For Zhou Xun, this was not only a major opportunity, but also a stepping stone bringing her closer to her artistic dreams. However, in complete contrast to her joy, Richie Jen was not particularly enthusiastic. In his view, working behind the scenes was enough. There was no need to step in front of the camera. The differences in their perspectives on life and career direction gradually caused cracks in their relationship. To preserve their relationship, Zhou Xun initially accepted compromise, declining the film offer. Yet the more she suppressed herself, the stronger her artistic aspirations grew. In the end, faced with the director's sincerity, she could no longer continue denying the burning dream within her heart. When she completed her final scene and returned from the film set, Zhou Xun hoped to explain everything clearly to Richie Jen and mend their relationship. However, what awaited her was a decisive breakup from him. After that shock, Zhou Xun fell into a state of sadness and chose to return to Hangzhou to rest and find her balance again. Right at that moment, musician Du Peng, the cousin of famous singer Dao Wei, was having a performance in this city. During that time, to make ends meet and continue nurturing her love for the arts, Zhou Xun often sang at bars. It was through these performances that she and Du Peng happened to meet and gradually developed feelings for each other. The connection between them came very naturally. Zhou Xun was drawn to the artistic talent that emanated from Du Peng, while he was impressed by the graceful and genuine charm she carried. Not long after, they officially entered into a new relationship. Around the same time, Du Peng was striving to pursue his music career. With aspirations to reach greater heights, he decided to leave Hangzhou for Beijing to build his career. And once again, for love, Zhou Xun did not hesitate to return to the city that had marked her earliest beginnings. When they began their life together in this unfamiliar place, Du Peng always cared for and looked after Zhou Xun attentively. The two dreamed together of a simple future, a small house, a stable life, and peaceful days spent side by side. With the desire to turn that dream into reality, Zhou Xun diligently sang at bars, saving money little by little. When she had finally saved enough, she excitedly shared the news with Du Peng. But what awaited her was an unexpected breakup. This time, the reason was not much different from before. Du Peng hoped Zhou Xun would have a peaceful life, staying away from the spotlight. But for Zhou Xun, someone who carried a burning passion for the arts within her, that was impossible. Especially when she was standing before a crucial turning point in her career. And so, the irreconcilable differences caused their 5-year relationship to quietly come to an end. In an interview years later, when Zhou Xun mentioned Du Peng, she simply smiled gently. She acknowledged that he had a significant influence on her life, and if things had gone differently that year, perhaps by now, they would have had a small family together. Leaving her romantic affairs behind, Zhou Xun poured all her heart and soul into her career. In 1999, she had a major breakthrough when director Liu Ye invited her to take the lead role in the film Suzhou River. Starring alongside Jia Hongsheng, their on-screen chemistry quickly sparked rumors of a real-life romance, but both remained silent, neither confirming nor denying anything. Although what their relationship was like off-screen remained a mystery, on her artistic journey, Jia Hongsheng had a significant influence on Zhou Xun. He was the one who helped expand her career path, and through his introduction, Zhou Xun had the opportunity to meet director Li Shaohong, a major name in the film industry at that time. Thanks to that meeting, Li Shaohong quickly recognized Zhou Xun's exceptional potential and gave her an important role in the historical drama Palace of Desire. This role became a major turning point in her career. The film created a powerful impact, and Zhou Xun's nuanced performance not only won over audiences, but also received high praise from industry professionals. Deeply impressed by her capabilities and professional work ethic, director Li Xiaohong decided to sign a long-term collaboration contract with Zhou Xun. With support from an experienced team and a favorable working environment, Zhou Xun began entering the most flourishing period of her career. It was during this peak period that she was ranked alongside three other prominent actresses, Zhang Ziyi, Zhao Wei, and Xu Jinglei, together forming the title Four Dan Actresses, the new icons of Chinese cinema. To this day, despite the entertainment industry's constant changes, these four names have maintained their top-tier status and are regarded as the exemplary models of a generation of talented actresses. Also, thanks to her increasingly widespread influence, Zhou Xun's reputation not only attracted attention from the artistic community, but also caused the value of her teenage portrait photographs to surge dramatically. Most notably, the painting The Girl Under the Sunlight, captured when she was 15 years old, sold for $254,000. Around the same time, the painting Ancient Wind was also transferred for $110,000. These attention-grabbing transactions not only affirmed Zhou Xun's powerful appeal, but also elevated the name of painter Hong Haipan, the creator of the series, making him a sought-after figure among collectors and the art world at that time. After her acting career gradually stabilized, Zhou Xun continued to challenge herself by venturing into music, and it was on this journey that she met musician and singer-songwriter Pu Shu, who brought her emotions that were quite different from anything before. From their first meeting, Zhou Xun was captivated by Pu Shu's unique musical style and the depth in each of his compositions. She quickly fell in love, but Pu Shu was the type of artist who lived introspectively, solitary, sensitive, and sometimes rather aloof. Although their romantic relationship did not last long, because she always treasured his talent and their artistic connection, to this day, both have maintained a close friendship and mutual respect for each other. Having gone through many relationships, some deep, some fleeting, even director Li Xiaohong, who had worked with Zhou Xun for many years, had to acknowledge that she was the type of woman who experiences the world with her whole heart and through every role she plays. And perhaps it was because of her heart that was always open that in 2001, while filming the series The Legend of the Condor Heroes, Zhou Xun and actor Li Yapeng developed feelings for each other. By his side, she felt for the first time a love that was gentle, warm, and full of care. Those feelings deepened even further when Zhou Xun unexpectedly fell ill and had to be hospitalized. Li Yapeng never left her side, always by her bedside, caring for her attentively, making Zhou Xun truly feel the warmth of a peaceful haven. After many years of being accustomed to independence and handling everything on her own, the moment of being cared for so devotedly truly moved her. For the first time, Zhou Xun clearly understood what it meant to be loved and cared for completely, something she had previously only experienced through the emotionally complex characters she portrayed on screen. In an interview years later, when mentioning her former boyfriend, Zhou Xun smiled gently and shared that Li Yapeng was the most ideal image she had ever envisioned of a man. Thanks to their compatibility in personality and emotions, their love at that time progressed extremely smoothly. Their relationship not only received support from close friends, but also advanced to an important step, meeting each other's parents. However, just when Zhou Xun was ready to step into a new chapter of her life, everything took a different turn. Rumors that Li Yapeng had fallen for actress Faye Wong suddenly emerged, and not long after, it was confirmed to be true. That harsh reality made Zhou Xun truly feel the pain of a broken heart for the first time. Although she had experienced hurt before, this time, she could not hide her devastation. And so, the romance that had seemed destined for a happy ending quietly came to a close, without any blame, without a complete resolution. That pain lasted longer than she had imagined. After the devastating breakup, Zhou Xun nearly collapsed completely. She lost all her vitality, spending entire days lying in bed with no desire to eat or talk, her spirit deteriorating as if the world around her had suddenly become empty. Seeing their daughter fall into such a terrible state, Zhou Xun's parents could not stand by and do nothing. They took her to see a psychologist, and after examination, Zhou Xun was diagnosed with autism-like symptoms due to psychological trauma. Fortunately, it was detected early. After 2 months of intensive treatment, she gradually stabilized and began to find balance in her life again. However, after that shock, Zhou Xun devoted nearly all her time to work. She immersed herself in film projects, lived a reclusive life, and no longer concerned herself with romantic matters. When her parents noticed this and began to worry, they advised her to move past the past, to open her heart to new love, because everyone deserves to be loved once more. Right at that moment, a new romance quietly appeared. Through the introduction of her close friend, singer Renee Liu, Zhou Xun became acquainted with fashion stylist Tachi Li. He arrived gently but quickly left a wonderful impression from their very first meetings. Perhaps because they had witnessed their daughter go through so much heartbreak, this time Zhou Xun's parents were much more cautious. Before allowing her to go further in the relationship, they proactively investigated Tachi Li's background thoroughly to ensure their daughter was placing her trust in the right person. To create closeness and show goodwill, Zhou Xun invited Tachi Li to her home for a meal with her parents. During dinner, he candidly shared that he had been through a failed relationship before, showing his sincerity and willingness to be open about his past. Not only that, after the meal, he also carefully wrapped up the leftover pastries to bring home as a gift for his parents, a small gesture that demonstrated his thoughtfulness and consideration. It was this simple lifestyle and sincere manner that gradually put Zhou Xun's family at ease and led them to accept the relationship. Thanks to this solid foundation from the beginning, the romance between Zhou Xun and Tachi Li progressed smoothly and lasted for 5 years. However, after all that time, the two still could not reach a fulfilling conclusion. Rumors suggested that Zhou Xun herself initiated the breakup because she felt the other party had not truly devoted complete seriousness and affection to the relationship. Although her love life remained turbulent and without a complete happy ending, Zhou Xun's career continued to soar. In 2010, she was honored by American media as one of Asia's 25 greatest actors of all time, becoming an icon admired not only in China but around the world. With all her determination and passion, Zhou Xun at that time devoted her full energy to her career, consecutively appearing in numerous quality film and television projects, step by step solidifying her firm standing in the entertainment industry. It was not until 2014, when her career had firmly reached its peak, that Zhou Xun suddenly made public her relationship with actor Archie Kao. The two had met at a party, and after more than a year of dating privately, she decided to enter into marriage with him. After getting married, Archie Kao, who had been living and working abroad, proactively moved to China to be closer to Zhou Xun. He also signed a contract with the company she managed, demonstrating his desire to be by his wife's side in both work and life. As the husband and an artist under Zhou Xun's own company, Archie Kao received considerable support from his wife, from major film opportunities to connections within the industry. However, despite this strong backing, he struggled to adapt to the domestic entertainment environment, causing his career to fall short of expectations. Precisely because he could not make his mark in this new environment, Archie Kao gradually shifted his focus toward family. He hoped Zhou Xun could temporarily set aside her busy schedule to rest, take care of her health, and prepare for the journey of motherhood ahead. But for someone who had grown accustomed to living in the non-stop whirlwind of work like Zhou Xun, stopping completely was not easy. Understanding her husband's wishes, she chose a compromise, continuing to work while also undergoing medical treatment to prepare for the journey of becoming a mother. As for Archie Kao, ever since he devoted his heart and energy to the family, he gradually began to feel lost within his own home. On quiet evenings, returning to the empty house, he realized the distance between them was growing more apparent by the day. Zhou Xun became increasingly busy with work, while he could only silently stand behind, watching her in silence. Then one day, when the silence became too much to bear, Archie Kao quietly packed his bags and returned to America, without leaving any message behind. A few days later, when her work schedule settled down, Zhou Xun came home only to be stunned to discover that her husband had left. She called repeatedly, trying to reach him, but only heard the operator's voice announcing that the number could not be connected. Time passed, and while the wounds in her heart had not yet healed, Zhou Xun was suddenly confronted with a series of photos circulating online, capturing moments of Archie Kao being intimate with a new girlfriend. With just that much, their marriage was considered closed without needing any further explanation. In 2020, Zhou Xun's studio posted a brief announcement, sending a gentle yet subtly meaningful farewell to Archie Kao, a discreet way of closing the chapter on a relationship that had once held such promise. Although the past had quietly come to a close, deep within, Zhou Xun had never lost her faith in love. For her, love is not merely a fleeting emotion, but a source of life that nourishes the soul after every heartbreak. Having gone through many ups and downs, Zhou Xun's radiance has not only never faded, but has further highlighted her depth and unique allure. At 51 years old, she still maintains a stable artistic presence, continuously reinventing herself through multiple roles: a bold producer, an inspiring performing artist, a timeless fashion icon, and a pioneer in community initiatives. What do you think about this story? Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming stories.